Hi. Good morning, everybody. Adam Savage in my cave. Today is New Tool Day. I see you are machinists. New Tool Day today. And New Tool Day means Tool Integration Day, and it means Tool Cleaning Day. That's all going to happen today. Good morning. Hi. I've got my cup of coffee, and it's a beautiful day. In fact, it is not a beautiful day. It is totally raining outside, and it's super gray. An ideal day to come in and mess with a new tool. So this is a thing that I've been wanting for a long time. Regular watchers of the channel might remember over COVID that I built Hellboy's Samaritan, Hellboy's sidearm. I made it out of aluminum. It was about 200 hours of work. It was, for me, a way to process some personal things going on during COVID. It still remains a very powerful and important build for me. We'll include a link in the description. But I'm particularly calling your attention to one part of that build, which are the bullets, which I built by hand. I think I made about 40 of them. Here's some footage of those bullets from that build. And specifically the underside. So look here at the underside. Yes, you'll see the engraving that says BPRD, etc. That engraving was done by my friend Victor Broadley. He has a machine shop down in LA. He regularly works for Legacy Effects on all sorts of fun stuff. Those are the guys that make all the costumes for everything. They make all sorts of animatronics. They do tons of stuff on The Mandalorian and other giant movies. But Victor has one of these machines. He has, I believe, a Deckel GK21. I think that's what he has, which is the smaller version of this. This is the GK12. Or sorry, this is a clone of the Deckel GK12 made by George Herbert Anderson. Is that the name? GHA. This is a British maker's copy of the Deckel. And I think these date from the mid-century, 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I cannot find a machine label on this thing. But we're going to clean it today. And if there is one, we'll find it. This is a machine that nobody needs anymore. Nobody needs this machine. Here's mainly what this machine does. Okay, we're just going to raise up the knee on this plate here. So this is a machine that has 2 points of interest and 2 plates. It is specifically for taking a design on this side of the equation and cutting it on this side of the equation. So this is a probe and this is a cutter, and whatever you trace on the probe, the cutter does. At scale. At scale. This will go from 1.5 scale, so it will take this and reduce it by 75%. I think that's right. And then it will also reduce it down to 1/10 of the original size. So it's a scaler and it's a copier, and it's basic. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. It's called what the title on the slate was. It's a pantograph. This is a pantograph. And until the CNC machine, this was a really, really necessary machine. It is super esoteric now. There's a few other channels that have covered this. Most recently, I didn't even realize this until after I pulled the trigger on buying this, but Inheritance Machining, one of the great YouTube channels, Inheritance Machining, obtained one of these about 10 months ago, and apparently there's a clock build, which I have not yet seen on his channel, that utilizes it. He had talked about on his channel how much he loved this machine. And someone had called him up and he drove over to them and went and got it, which is lovely. I picked this up for $500 on Craigslist. It cost me nearly that much just to get it here. Very funnily, the guy who sold it to me was convinced until he saw my face that the entirety of the sales transaction could have been some sort of high-level Craigslist internet scam using me. And then he saw me and he was like, okay, this is real. Anyway, here's an example of a pattern transfer. The original owner of this machine, that was his tracer pattern. And he was affecting things that bolted into this little fixture plate that he built. So he bolted stuff onto this fixture plate and then affected its outer profile with this. My pantograph does not come with anything. There are collets that fit inside the spindles here. It looks like the belt works. I haven't even turned this thing on, so I know nothing about the operating condition of this machine except that it looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's been beaten up and heavily used, but I do believe that I can get this thing to sing. Today I'll be cleaning it. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I love cleaning a tube tool. But more than that, I'm also going to be integrating it. So when you bring in a new, and you notice the lathe went away. I never used the second operation lathe. I never even thought about using it. I just do everything on the main lathe or the watchmaker's lathe. So this one I put back into storage. And now I have a little more room. So there'll be a kind of a rejiggering here of what this ends up looking like. Yeah, you can see, if you look up, you can see the, shall we try that again? I used this beautiful Warren winch to take weight off of this and pull its pallet out from underneath it. But next what happens is, so whenever you bring in a new tool, you kind of have to mess with everything. And so right now, the entire area here is all like totally deconfigured. And that's also what will happen today, is that I'll bring this back into some semblance of order. There may even be some shelves up there. Yeah. We shall see. New tool day. And you sat or under a curse. Your life is bad. Your prospects are worse. Your wife is sighing, crying, and your olive tree is dying. Pebbles are traying and teeth are decaying and predators weighing your purse. Your mood and your robe are both the deep blue. One thing I know is that this has to be all imperial measurements. I don't think there's a metric screw bolt or cap head on this whole thing. Mid-60s British. Yeah. Oh, we do have a couple of T-slot nuts. That's great. We'll put those there. I think we've got a couple here. Those look like 5/16, 18. Be that? Nope, I was off by one. This looks like this guy has drilled through a piece of plate glass here and even tapped it, but I don't think it's plate glass. I think it's acrylic. The reason I keep thinking that it's plate glass is because it has a green tinge, but I know something. And that is, yeah, this is really funny. There are companies that make acrylic that has the actual same green color as silica glass. And the reason, well, in special effects, we use this for broken glass stuff because it looks just like broken glass. Okay. All the beltage looks like it's in really good shape, amazingly. Yep. Gorgeous. Okay. We'll deal with you later. It's the first tool that we can dedicate to this machine. Nope. Really? It's not even 9/16? Jesus. I'm feeling like I want to move through this piece by piece. Okay. So I don't think Let's just double check this here. I don't think I want to muck around too much with. There is no deflection at all, so I don't want to take this arm apart as much as I normally would. But I do feel like I want to clean it from one end to the other. Wow, this thing has been rebuilt a couple of times. It's been shattered here and brazed back together. All right. Yeah, so take a look here. You can see that this has been shattered here, and they brazed it all back together. Brazing cast iron is non-trivial. All right, this is kind of fun. This is a custom addition to this thing in order to get a different speed. And there is no speed listing plate on here, so I'm going to have to actually figure out all the speeds myself. But the way that I know that this is a custom piece is that the holes don't line up in any other orientation but one. They only line up in that, not in any of the other three orientations. Yep. Custom. I'm really fascinated by the guy who had this machine. He did a lot of fixing up of it, and it feels quite solid for a machine that's been as abused as this one has. All right, we're going to reassemble the tension belt for the motor and also the tension belt for the spindle. It's all the same thing. We're going to get a little grease in there. So let's get that belt back. And go for the... All right, gotta get gloves on again. My hands are otherwise gonna get crazy filthy. Filthy. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good about how cleaned up all of this is, and it's all in really good shape. There's no rattling anywhere. The bearings are nice and tight. I don't think this thing was crashed. I think it was dropped off a truck. I think it fell on its back, and that's what shattered these pieces and also required the rebuilding of the entire motor's mount plane. But again, that's not a huge concern, given where we're at. I do need to clean these tables, stone them, and then double check all of these guys. These are the ones I'm curious about because there are standard ways to tighten up and refine the dovetails that make up XY milling tables. And I'm going to see if any of that needs any adjustment. Right, let's just check this. Oh, it might turn out that I have the right clamp set for this. I do! Excellent. Okay. Apparently 3/8. All right, so here we go. All right, let's make these dials really pretty, shall we? Beautiful hand wheel in perfect condition. God bless America. A couple of washers. Oh, I see. You were having trouble with the little things. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I see. Okay, I won't be able to pull this whole thing out. That's fine. That's fine. Let's just do a little degreasing. This would be a fun restoration project. I agree. I know you're thinking it, but it's a multi-person excursion. That's what this definitely is. Let's put you back. Oh, that's beautiful. All right. Yeah, that's a lamp that I've been saving for a while for a good reason. Dude, that's pretty cool. All right, how do I access? Let's get this one cleaned up. Come on, jump. Okay, so we're ready to mess with this machine just a little bit. The way it works is you put a pattern here and you copy it here. I've got it set for a 1/5 reduction. So I've got a 250 thousandths probe here, just a 1/4 inch dowel pin. And I've got a 60 thou end mill. But here's what I have. I bought some new Hermes engravograph brass letters, and I'm going to attempt to simply cut one S. I've made a rudimentary 60-degree point. That's to trace my letter. So this will go in here like that. Okay, so let's put this puppy down. Now there are other hold down methods for letters, and there are other letters, and oh my God, I need Gorton. That's the typeface I want. That's the typeface I want to have loaded into this. But I'm gonna have to purchase some stuff for that. So we're just putting in the S. There we go. There you can see. It's nice and mounted, and then what I will end up doing is, with the machine properly oriented, I will then drop this into there so it can't move anywhere, and then I will simply draw the line and just keep on drawing it. So that is loaded into the S. Now I need to load a bit into this thing, and I'm going to use this old piece of scrap aluminum to make myself a tool. I thought I was clever, but the tool didn't work, so I'm just going to use... leather, lockjaws, so to walk you through what just happened, because the whole spindle spins, because it's a spindle, and so does the collet, there's no like push stop to like lock the spindle so that you can undo the collet. So I was looking for some kind of pin that you would throw in, and lo, on the underside of the pulley here are two holes about 1.8 inches center to center, 1.85, something like that. Anyway, obviously there was a special tool for that. I tried to make it, and then I remembered that if you have a 2-hole wrench like that, you only need to engage one, and you can get the torque you need. As long as you have one engaged, you're good. So this works for this, and I was able to put a very small bit in here. So now I'm going to clamp something on here that I can carve into that you can see. All right, I'm going to use some orange phenolic. Yeah, this is plastic. I love this stuff. Okay, so your goal is clamp down. I'm just attaching everything by hook or by crook to get it sat on here. All right, now I raise this up to meet it. And I'm meeting it in the down position. So the goal is to bring this in. And bring it up until it's just oh, right. I got to make sure the belt's on. Hold on. Before I start mucking with anything, let's get the all right. Okay, so I'm going to bring it right up until it touches. And then I am going to, there it is. That is 1/2 millimeter. It's an S! So that's 1/5 the size. Amazing. All right. That is a 10-to-1. Now I'm going to have to move everything. Right. Okay, so we move. Excellent. Awesome. Dude! Ha 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 ha! All right, I could not be happier. I'm so freaking excited. This is all working great. I just did a 10-to-1 reduction on my brass S here. I need a host of custom tools for this business. I've been hiding one key feature of this. And those who know its key feature have been yelling at the screen. Yes, this doesn't just work in the X and Y direction for copying purposes. It works also in the Z direction. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's how to do it. Now, there's this one extra part of this that has to happen, and that is that these two cutters, when you go into 3D, the cutter and the pointer have to meet, have to all be in line with the spindle of rotation here, and there's a bolt for loosening. The persuasion. All right. And then there's a piece that comes out over here. Great. So I have to get right. Okay, so here's how this goes. Oh, wow, it is a tapered shaft. Crazy. Okay, great. That is very loosely in there. That's awesome. Yep. Okay, so amazingly, many of these devices no longer have this alignment arm, but the guy who sold it to me was like, I don't know what this is for, but it's the right color, so I kept it with it. And boy, was he right. I'm so happy to have this. All right, so now that these are on the same level and they're neutrally buoyant, can I get down far enough? Yeah. Okay, let's give this a shot. You know what? I think I'm going to go to a slightly lesser ratio so we can see a little better. I am going to try and trace my face a little bit. We're just going to see if I can do this. I'm not even sure if it's possible. All right. Let's Oh, right. I got to bolt all this shit down too. What? That's friggin' crazy. Look at that. 5 to 1, baby. 1 to 5. That's a little... I mean, look, that's shite, right? But it is a proof of concept. Look, it's a mini-me. 1/5 the scale of the original. I didn't think that was going to take all day, but it took all day. I'm very happy with this machine. I'm really excited. It's so pretty. It moves really solid. The bearings are all in great shape. My proof of concept of my little face. What you can realize is that this was not a time saver, but it was absolutely mission critical. This is how they made injection molding tooling and stuff like that. This is how they make coins. More on that later, but I mean in another video. But dude, this thing is like, I have a crush. I have a deep crush. So I'm going to sit down here and make a list of some of the things that I need to populate this with, the tools, the specific things, and then I'm going to go home and order some of that on eBay and Amazon. And I need all sorts of collets and little spindles and little ball end tools of tiny proportions and things like that. Pantograph, baby. So amazing. I also have to sit and think about how this is all going to flow here. I think that this shelf here may end up living here, although I might shorten it. I might make it a little narrower. I think I'm definitely going to make it a little narrower. And I'm going to give it a back so I don't lose things behind it. And maybe I'll give it some doors so I can put some lights in it, because that's the way I like to do it. If you have one of these GHA machines, and you know what goes here, what goes on there, let me know. I can't find a picture of it. But now's the fun part. Now we get to go home and figure out how to populate this and what it needs. Thank you, folks, for joining me for this one-day tool extravaganza. I'm so happy. Yeah, this is beautiful. It's really, really nifty machine. Really well designed. I know everyone who puts up videos about this is like, it's not a fast machine. The main reason that I want one of these, the main reason that I'm not putting in like a $300 CNC engraver. I mean, look, high school students have built machines that can do exactly what this can for like $100. I'm really, really clear on that. But I'm also clear that I do not like the look of computer-aided engraving. It's too clean. It's too neat. And that does not work for me. Ye olde stuff. I know that's not the correct pronunciation, but ye olde stuff was really, really quirky and not perfectly made, and things weren't square. And when I make my versions of ye olde stuff, like scepters and crowns and stuff, it's got to be a little more rough and tumble than the modern age. It's how it tells its story. Okay, I banged on long enough at the front and the back of this. Look at this beautiful girl. Oh, amazing. All right, everyone, I will see you next time. Love to hear information I need to know about this thing in the comments if you are one of those people. Don't get me wrong, I've got some people in my life who know these machines well. Woo-hoo. All right, see you next time. Thank you guys for watching. I wanted to tell you about some new merch we have at adamsavage.com. We have a 4-pack of Savage meatball logos, a 3-inch, a 2-inch, a 1-inch, and my new favorite, a Savage meatball magnet. You can get them at adamsavage.com.